The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? Nothing feels more dangerous than falling for someone you think you know, especially when they just try to have you murdered. This tomfoolery and more as Amber and Scott discuss trust. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
There is someone out there that very much hates me personally.
Well, I'm right here.
Well, yes.
I mean, they're not out there. They're sitting right next to you.
The people who made this movie must hate me personally because they knew me watching this and doing this podcast would make my head explode. And oh yes, boys and girls, that emoji, that exploding head emoji, that is me right now. This is going to be a fun one.
Okay, well, I'm curious. I'm not sure what that is, but let's tell our listeners a little bit about this episode's film, Trust. After a scandal, a Hollywood starlet retreats to a remote cabin, but she's not alone. Betrayed by the man she trusted most, she's trapped in a brutal game of survival. She can hide, but she can't run.
So normally here, we ask the question, what would you do?
That's what we're known for.
It is.
Across the globe.
I am going to mix it up just ever so slightly for this episode.
Okay, that's frightening.
I'm going to ask the question.
I know what you're going to do.
What?
You're going to say, what wouldn't you do?
What wouldn't you do?
Oh, I know you.
So
pretty much everything that our main character did.
We're going to, instead of just saying, we're going to dissect this whole thing. I'm going to start with the first one. I wouldn't be screwing my co-star in a family sitcom who's probably the age of my dad.
Yeah, and playing her dad on like a family, kind of like a Growing Pains, Full House kind of like wholesome family.
And that just makes it so much more creepy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't refuse an abortion if I did get knocked up because I made the first bad mistake.
Okay. Okay. What the F? So she's pregnant and you're saying you wouldn't refuse an abortion? Did she ask for one? So the guy doesn't want basically his reputation ruined since he's the actor that plays her dad. He doesn't want to go down as a pedophile or any sort of anything being America's dad. So you wouldn't refuse an abortion when he says you need to get an abortion? What the heck?
Yeah, if he says you need to get an abortion, I'd be like, okay, you're paying for it, and where do you want me to go?
It's not. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed for you right now.
I'm not.
You think what's on her mind is who's going to foot the bill?
I mean, no,
I'm sorry,
you just have him foot it. But
what the heck?
She is young and
she's not that young.
I
mean, she's in her 20s or something. I mean, she's not underage.
I mean, she was kind of playing underage.
Well, yeah, like most girls in Hollywood, younger than their age.
I think she was supposed to be fairly young here, and she
was of age.
Listen,
the fact that you're making this about money is making me really uncomfortable.
I'm not making it about money, but I'm saying, like, if he says you need to get the divorce, then
not divorce.
Sorry, wrong movie. You need to get an abortion, then okay, will you at least foot the time of figuring out where it is?
I'm so embarrassed for you right now.
And the bill, because the thing you need to consider, does this destroy his career? Absolutely. Does it do a lot of damage to hers? Absolutely. It is mutually beneficial. That was not their thing when they were screwing, that they wanted to make a baby. And
I really wish you would stop speaking because you're going to make people not like you. The fact that she was pregnant, he calls in a panic saying, you need to get an abortion, and she's not capable of having this conversation because basically her phone was hacked along with many celebrities, and all these pictures were released from all these celebrities, and one was a picture of a pregnancy test and the stick that says you're pregnant. So she is traumatized by this horrible invasion of privacy. She goes to a cabin to just get away from all of the media exposure and to think and unwind.
And I'm going to interrupt with a what wouldn't you do? I wouldn't go to that cabin purely alone. Now, that doesn't mean there needs to be anyone in the cabin with you, but you need to have a person or two who's like outside, who is monitoring and because she's like a huge freaking star in this thing. And there's just too much risk in letting her go by herself. And you don't have to be in there with her or invading her space. She can basically be alone while she still has a couple of people on the outside making sure that, all's good. Nobody's sneaking up to the house, etc.
Okay. Anyway, back to the topic of the money.
It's not about Don't stop making it about the money. It's not
you
about
made it about
it's
the
not
money.
about the money. But I'm just saying that if he wants the divorce, God dang it, if he wants the abortion,
who cares what he wants? First of all, he wants it for selfish reasons. Second of all, he doesn't get to decide. She gets to decide.
You're right.
And an abortion. 99% of the time, it's not about the money. It's about, the act of having an abortion.
Yes,
I'm sorry, you don't have a uterus.
You have completely lost the plot as it pertains to the money thing. I'm simply stating that if you want somebody to do something, you pay for it. Whether it's an abortion or whatever the hell.
They didn't get into the financials of how much it costs.
What she really should have said was, when he said, I need you to get an abortion, I would have said, listen, let me think on this a little bit. I'm not going to go rushing.
But he was pushy about it.
I'm not going to go rushing to the press saying your name. But right now, I am effing overwhelmed with everything that has gone on. I need to decompress before I can do anything. So I'm not telling you no at all, but I'm saying I need to decompress first.
Okay. I agree with you. There should have been a more adult conversation between two adults, but he was very aggressive, not only saying that she needs to get an abortion and it could ruin him and ruin the show, but even says, tell me where you are so I can send a doctor there. Like, he's all about this. You need someone out there right now to get rid of this baby.
He is trying to facilitate, and I get it from his perspective, but as you pointed out, it is not his decision. So, but when somebody's coming at you that harshly, you have to think that if you really push back against them, they obviously have some power and money and can do things, and they're in a desperate situation. Don't back them so far into a corner that they, hire a hitman.
She didn't back him into a corner.
By saying no, she did. She backed him into a corner.
Oh my gosh. Ladies, please do not boycott our podcast here. She did not back him into a corner. At the end of the day, it is her decision. Everyone in an ideal situation should absolutely have a say, but when push comes to shove, it is the woman's decision of what to do with her body.
And I don't know what I'm saying that's making you think that I think anything other than that. I agree with you on that, but you need the ability to see this from other sides. Somebody else is controlling your fate. Now, you were a dumbass to even allow this to happen to begin with, but regardless, you're in a situation, she's pregnant, and that baby can just beyond ruin you. So when she says no, because you have to remember, while she is needing to decompress, he is too. Like, he's getting all this shocking news out of nowhere.
But nobody knows.
He's freaking out.
But the difference is her photos are the ones that were leaked. Nobody knows he's the dad. Nobody knows what's happened. His photos were leaked. He is perfectly absent from the scandal that's happened with all of these Hollywood photos. But this is just one plot point in the larger, larger focus of the film, which is...
They both should have been a lot milder about it. Like, he was way too aggressive. And if I'm her, I'd just be, can we just discuss this later? Just discuss it later. And get him to calm down, because he clearly was not calm.
Okay, so anyway, she is out in this cabin, remote cabin, and there are cameras there that the caretaker kind of is voyeuristic and looks in on her and realizes, oh, wait, yeah, she's a celebrity. He has 2 roommates. One is his uncle, and they're derelicts. They're people who have, been in and out of jail or prison or whatever, and they're always looking for the next easy score. And they end up going to the house with the intention of stealing a bunch of stuff from her. And everything gets really messy. She hides in this...
A water closet.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not a boiler room, but it was something...
It was a water closet, yeah.
Well, a water closet in England is a bathroom.
Is a bathroom, yes. But, I mean, yeah, there was a furnace.
Yeah, I mean, there's pipes and stuff like that. So she hides in there, and they have this whole altercation through the door of her saying, I'll pay you money, this didn't happen, let me go. And they wind up killing one of their threesome, which was the guy who was the caretaker of the Airbnb.
I mean, it was an accident. The gun went off on accident. At least the first time it went off on accident. The second time wasn't.
Yeah, no, he was killed on purpose by one of the threesome there.
He was injured on accident, killed on purpose.
Yeah. So at this point, there is this whole big standoff. They're afraid that she's going to turn them in. She's begging for a safe release, and they end up leaving. And she is stuck in this room with all of these pipes and rats.
Oh, and if you think I was on my soapbox before, ladies and gentlemen, you got... We're gonna turn this one up to 11.
Yeah, so her character's name is Lauren Lane, and she is in there, and she's trying to figure out how to get out because they haven't gotten out. Okay, now I think you and I both have the same issue with her getting out of this room. I want to say 3, 2, 1, and say what our issues, what the word that we're both thinking of.
Well, mine's more than a word.
Okay, well let's go 3.
No, I'm not gonna have anything to say on 3, 2,
okay.
1. Mine's
My word is hinges. Hinges.
Oh yeah, no, that's not correct at all.
The door has the hinges on the side that she's on. She finds a pipe, so she could either stuck it through the hole because the doorknob gets broken off, so there's a hole there. So she just starts hitting the door, put the freaking pipe through the hole where the doorknob was, and use that to make the door ajar, or knock off the frickin' hinges, which are on your side of the door. But instead, we have a whole long movie of her trying to get out of this room when she could have been out of there in like 15 minutes.
Okay.
What would you not do? I would not do that. I would not do what she did.
The second thing I would do, if the first thing didn't work, which I haven't told you yet.
What first thing, second thing?
Which is, if you can find something that is basically like a credit card, you are going to work that credit card in between the space of the door, and you're going to use it to open it.
She didn't have a credit card. What are you talking
about?
So
if you didn't have that, then you do number 1, which for me...
You poop?
For me
or
was...
is pee number 1? What's number 1?
You
pee?
No.
You just said number 1. Isn't that pee?
You go, you pick up the door handle... You put the door handle back through the knob, you turn it, and you get out. You do not need both sides of a door handle to get out. That was not a deadbolt lock. You literally just take the handle, you put it in, you turn it. Simple, you're out. And
what are you talking about getting out with a credit card?
You can pop locks with like a credit card or something.
Well, if you know how to break in places, I'm sure you can do lots of things.
You don't even really need to know that much.
Okay, let's not teach people how to commit crimes.
Yeah, it's sadly easier than...
We are not recommending that you do this.
I'm not recommending anything, no.
Do not do this. So she's in this room, she's trying to get out, and then one of the pipes in there breaks, and the room she's in starts filling up with water. Hello?
Yeah. Yes, which... then puts a level of urgency on it because, oh yeah, more things.
Yeah, there's a sparking.
Yeah, there's a
electrical.
There's a sparking plug, if you know anything about electrical, you know that if the light just goes out, pulling on the string isn't going to bring it back, at least not once. Twice maybe, but probably not, because you're still not solving. You're just opening and closing the circuit. You're not solving the actual issue that's causing...
Well, I don't think she was trying to summon her inner electrician. She was just trying to get light where she could.
Yes, but when there is sparks and there is water, that is a really bad...
Initially there wasn't water when she was doing that, though.
Yes, correct. So I'm fine with it more. I mean, it's difficult because she really does need to like unscrew the bulb or make sure, and she's not going to be able to. She's got nothing to get to it with. But there was a window to the outside where there was, at least during day, like there was light in there. But as soon as there's water, you're done with that light bulb. Because
I mean, she wasn't messing with it when the room was filling up with water.
She did for a little while when it was real low. Once it got higher, she didn't. But yeah, your real problem was the sparking outlet. That once the water hits that level.
So what would you do?
Okay, so let's assume somehow that when the doorknob flew out, it happened to fly into the furnace and melted, and you don't have a credit card. But you found a crowbar and...
It was a pipe. But yeah, it could definitely serve as a crowbar, and she didn't use it that way.
It looked like a crowbar. Forms, or... Okay.
It was a pipe. It was a hooked pipe.
Okay, if it's got a flat edge...
It did not.
Okay.
It was a pipe.
So...
I mean, if you're going to wish for that, you should also wish for an electrician and a handyman inside the room.
No, that's fine. You get the hammer. Hammer's not as good.
She did have a hammer, yes.
You use it as a pry. You put it in between the door, the nail remover part, and you pry the door open. Now,
yeah, if at a minimum you're going to pull off pieces of the door.
Yeah, I mean the door's metal, so like you're not going to get that you're not going to go through that door.
The door was metal? I don't remember it being metal.
Oh, yeah. No, that's how the guys died. They shot the door, and because it was metal, the bullet bounced off of it and came back and hit them. Yeah, no, that was a metal door, so you're not going through it. And the sides around you are brick. And you maybe... Okay, I maybe could go through brick if it's like old enough and weak enough. She's not going to. So you've determined that you can't get out through walls or the door being closed. Like you have to get that door open in some way, shape, or form. I'm trying to pry, but once that doesn't work, the hinges. Because the hinges are going to be a real pain in the ass. Let me tell you, as a guy who has taken doors off before, that is...
It's some precision work that you need the right tools to even...
And again, it's going to be a metal door. So once you have two of those hinges off, which by the way, she did it in the wrong order. You should start from, well,
she did in the wrong order because she started at the top and went to the bottom, but the water was growing. So by the time she got down to the bottom, she had to keep going underwater to work on that hinge. So she definitely should have started at the bottom.
She needed to start at the bottom, then go to the top, and then use the middle one, because then you still have a balance. Otherwise, you're going to get a door that's disbalanced and pressing up against the hinges, and you're going to find that third hinge is virtually impossible to get off. You've got a chance if you leave the middle one on, because there's no upward or downward pressure.
Oh, that's interesting.
On that hinge.
I'll take your recommendation there.
Yeah, as a guy who's done this a few times. Yeah, and yeah, there's water coming up. So do the bottom one first. Like she did it last, and it became very difficult because she was literally having to do it underwater, and she's not getting that hinge off once it's underwater. I'm not getting that hinge off once it's underwater.
Yeah, you got a lot of pressure there to deal with.
Yes. So, like, absolutely ridiculous.
So I guess my takeaway from trust is, first of all, if you are a public figure and you are America's sweetheart and you are on a family show, do not take a picture of your pregnancy test. Whether or not, you get hacked or someone shares all your personal information, why are you taking a picture of your pregnancy test?
Yeah.
Why?
Unfortunately, you have to hold yourself to a much higher security standard.
Yeah, and be smart. Assume that any person in your home, anyone that works for you, could divulge personal information. If this is something that you need to hide, that people can't be aware of because it's going to impact your profession, your income, your social status, do not do that.
So one topic that we briefly came across that I do want to mention on what would you do is you mentioned the Airbnb cameras.
Yes.
So
that made me never want to stay at an Airbnb again.
So this is a hard one because you get people in an Airbnb that will just wreck it. Absolutely wreck the thing. So you need to be able to know if they've done that. But on the flip side, there's obviously a privacy issue.
And she didn't know those cameras were there.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if this service exists. It should. If it doesn't, there needs to be a third-party service that can basically put in the cameras, but the owner of the place does not have access to the footage. The footage is only brought out in cases where...
Well, you can have a creeper regardless if they're a third-party service or management.
Yeah, you would have to do some things with that company for bonding and like you're not using it. Like there's no monitors generally attached to it. It is just simply silently recording in the background. And the only time it can even be brought up is if you're dealing with like a destruction claim or a criminal complaint or something like that. And then you deal with it. You have to be real careful who you hire on this.
It's been a little while since I've stayed in an Airbnb. I don't know if hosts have to disclose if there are cameras or not, but had that been the case, she was a celebrity. Obviously, she would have never stayed anywhere where there was cameras.
Yeah.
It definitely made me think of like, okay, I will take a hotel because sure, your chances of having a random creeper who works there, who does something, yeah, sure, that does exist. But as a whole, you can generally trust a hotel environment better than one who's just monitored by a regular person.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can't have the regular person. That's what I'm saying. Like, I like the idea of cameras in Airbnbs, but I like the idea that the owner can't access that footage.
But what's the difference? I mean, they both are an infringement on privacy.
It's not.
Someone's watching you regardless if it's
no,
the
nobody's
owner or
watching you.
third party.
That's the thing. The way again, like I said,
someone can.
The company has to be set up in a certain way. That maybe it's set up in a way so that
maybe there's not a live feed.
Footage has to be 24 hours old before it can even be accessed.
And you can go back to it if there's an incident.
Yeah, you're never live feed looking at that ever. It's only when there's something after the fact and they have to go back and look at it.
Okay, yeah,
and figure
Create
it out.
That. Millions.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna see if, but I bet it exists. If it doesn't, I need to make it exist.
Yeah.
Don't rip off my ideas, guys.
Yeah, don't do that.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.